right, good morning to my Lemon Grove friends. It's 11/11/2020. How about that? And Veterans Day. And Jennifer was sharing with us, it's also, I forgot the saint that she said.
St. Martin of Tours.
St. Martin of Tours. We're now in November. It's really hard to believe that we've been doing these meetings since April, I believe, online. And I almost forgot. I think we kind of forgot how to cook that breakfast that we used to cook for everybody. We'll have to see how that goes when we can meet in person again. But I'm really grateful that you're here, and I think more people will probably be jumping on. But let me go ahead and share my screen, and I've got a couple prompts for you today that as we go around and just introduce ourselves, and as we go into our Thanksgiving season, I thought it would be really cool to share something that we're thankful for about Lemon Grove. Now, if you don't know Lemon Grove, you can share anything you're thankful for, but most of us are here, with a passion and a heartbeat for Lemon Grove. So let me share my screen. And especially for Sama, this is our first time. We're the Lemon Grove Clergy Association. We started I think this group started like a year or two before we moved here. And so that would make it over 20 years old. And we started out just as a small group of pastors meeting at Anna's restaurant. And we've grown to include a lot of agencies in the city because we're really, we really care about the city, and we want to work with other people that are already doing great things in Lemon Grove, and we want to come alongside and help with cleanups and different kinds of efforts and initiatives. So that's how we started. And one of the first things that we did as a clergy association is we did a Good Friday crosswalk together with Catholics, Protestants, mainline, and anybody that wanted to celebrate carrying the cross through Lemon Grove and praying over the first responders in the city and the businesses and the people. And so that was really kind of what brought us together. And then we've expanded from there. And so now we meet together every month just to share resources and to link arms and come alongside each other and help in all the different initiatives and areas for the residents of Lemon Grove. So if you want to, we'll go around and share the name of the name of the organization, agency, church you represent. And then if you if you know about Lemon Grove, share something you're grateful for about Lemon Grove. And then I didn't put this on there, but if you have a prayer request too, we're praying people. So, a family member or just a situation you're going through, we would love to pray for you. And let us know if you have an announcement that you would like to share later in the meeting. So we'll just go through and do all the introductions first, and then we'll go back and do a second round and have all the sharing. So let's see, let me expand all the faces that are on here this morning, and I'll just call out an order that is on my screen and have each one of you share. So let's see. So I'll go ahead and start just to give you time to think about what you're thankful for. But my name's Ann Stapleton, and my husband, well, I'll let him share about himself. We together pastor Lemon Grove, Cornerstone Community Church of Lemon Grove. And we have been pastors for 19 and a half years. And just recently, Mark stepped down from getting paid to be a pastor, and he is now working. Well, I'll let him tell you where he's working. And I'm now being paid to be the pastor. We've been co-pastoring this whole time, but I'm actually going to get a paycheck. So I'm with you, Joyce. So I've been volunteering my time for all these years. So it'll be kind of nice to get a paycheck. Something I am grateful for in Lemon Grove. I was an Army brat, so I moved around a lot growing up. And then Mark and I met in Texas, and then we got married and lived in Pasadena, the whole area, LA area. But the thing that when I moved to Lemon Grove, I was really surprised at what a small town feeling it had. I didn't know that existed in a kind of a big urban metropolis. And it reminds me of a couple places I lived when I was a kid, in Texas, just a small town feeling where people knew each other. You could actually go into a grocery store and bump into somebody that you know, and develop relationships with the clerks and the tellers. And I never had that, even when I was small. We moved so much that I never really developed relationships or put down roots. So this is the longest I've lived anywhere. And Mark and I we love being in Lemon Grove. We know it has its problems, but we kind of feel like, let's roll up our sleeves and help be part of the solution. So that's what I love about Lemon Grove, the small town feeling. And I don't really have any announcements later, but if I think of something, I will add that to the list. So on the next on my list is Jennifer, who's muted, and she's got a little pumpkin there with her to help her with announcements. So
Choo-choo.
Choo-choo.
Uh-oh.
See, there it is.
So I'm Jennifer Mendoza, and I am on the parish council at St. John's Catholic Church in Lemon Grove. I've been a member of the church there for 20 years now. So
Wow.
Celebrating my 20-year anniversary at St. John's. I'm also on the city council in Lemon Grove. I do have some announcements later, but it's with regard to some things that are happening at the church. And I did see if someone from the city could jump on, but if not, I could, maybe.
Veterans Day. Are they even working?
Oh yeah, everybody's off.
Right. I'm like, this is the smallest group we've had in a long time.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Day.
Okay, well I'll share a few things or ask some questions
For the city.
about the city.
I'll come back to you then.
And then I'm thankful for, I've lived kind of around Lemon Grove pretty much my whole life. Since I was 10 years old, I lived in East San Diego, but just on the other side of the 94. And I've just always liked Lemon Grove. My husband and I chose to buy a house here about 18 years ago. And I just love, everywhere I go, I see people I know. Sometimes it's people that I used to, that I went to high school with, or that I've worked with over the years, or just current neighbors, former neighbors, people from my church. It's a small town in a really big city, and I'm just grateful for all my friends, neighbors, and family. My brother has lived in Lemon Grove. He lives 2 houses from me. He and his wife have lived there for 35 years. So I have family in Lemon Grove also. So that's what I'm grateful for.
And how many years have you served on the council?
6 years.
Yeah.
And before that, I was on the planning commission for 10 years. So I've actually been in service to the city of Lemon Grove for 16 years. Yeah, flown by.
For your service. I know you do not get paid enough for the work that you do and the headaches that you have to deal with, but we really appreciate you being on the council and working so hard. And next I have up David Shorey. So David.
Good morning, everyone. David Shorey, Institute for Public Strategies. I'm the East County Program Manager. And something I'm grateful about Lemon Grove is the amount of civic pride you have, and the just the care that folks have for the community. And I do have an announcement at the end.
Perfect. Great. Well, thank you for being part of our community. Where do you live actually, David? Are you in El Cajon?
Up north.
I'm actually in Julian. I live in Julian.
You're in
Out east, yeah,
Julian.
Julian.
Whoa. Okay. And what's your temperature out there this morning?
Chilly.
That's why you're in the attic, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, because heat rises, so I'm happy.
Awesome. I'm so glad you're with us, David. Joyce, you're up next on my screen, so I'll go to you.
I am Joyce Moore, and I am almost 30-year resident of Lemon Grove, the city of Lemon Grove.
Wow.
And my husband is a 27-year Marine, and I was married to him 25 of those 27 years.
Wow.
And that's what brought us here to Lemon Grove. Came down here from Orange County. I was looking for, I did not want to live in a big city of San Diego. So when our realtor showed us this, brought us and showed us the city, the town, what have you, I was really impressed. And I had already asked for data. And the one thing that struck me, that the crime rate was just so extremely low. And I was really impressed. I'm from the South, Vicksburg, Mississippi. So it gave me, the city gave me that city feel, but southern and small, and that was what I wanted. And I am just so blessed and thankful that I got paid to work in my city. That always just really, really, really encouraged me. And my family and myself, we really invested in this city, and we got involved, and we worked here ever since we've been here within the city. And my son was here a couple of weeks ago, and we were going across the tracks, and I always like to show them the garden, and was going across the track. He said, "Mom, you know what? I painted that house. I painted those curves years ago," because Chris Walsh had a group called Teens with the Cause, and he used to come down every Saturday morning, and those kids would be out cleaning up. They would be out painting houses. They would be out painting curves. And so we just got really, really involved in the city. And I just appreciate that small town feel. And I want to say that I appreciate the people in the city. I met Ann, it had to be over 10 years ago. In one of the collaborative meetings.
Right.
And I just really impressed and thankful for you and Mark, how you have been just steadfast and committed to the Lemon Grove clergy, because at that time it was a very small group and you guys didn't give up, and it had grown tremendously. And I want to say that Jennifer, I thought she was going to pass out and I was going to have to go and resuscitate her just a few weeks ago, because every time I saw her, she was out with the baby, she was out with the granddaughter. And I'm just so thankful for that so many people in this city, agencies, organizations, they come together and they get the work of the city done because they love the city.
Yeah, that's great. I see a theme here. people love the small town feel and the involvement. That's great. And if you don't know Joyce, she also is a pastor's wife, and your church was in Spring Valley. You've moved, right?
Yeah, we're in El Cajon now.
We're in El Cajon now. Great. All right, next on my screen is Dean. Good morning, Dean.
Good morning. It's freezing. I'm Dean. I'm also with the Institute for Public Strategies, East County Community Change Project. Lemon Grove. Well, I don't live in Lemon Grove, but I did live in La Mesa. I love that whole section, really. And I think the thing that I appreciate the most about Lemon Grove is there's a community spirit that's very progressive and committed to change and moving forward where equity is concerned. And I see that a lot in this group. And it challenges me, challenges my perception, I should say, having been a lifelong, not lifelong really, but half of my life in San Diego, I should say, resident. You get this impression of East County and the mindset. And I found when I came on with IPS and started working in the area that it's far different than I thought, and it's refreshing to see so many people, especially in this group, who are committed to making a difference in the community at various levels. So I actually am glad to be working in the project that I am. So yes, I do have an announcement later. So.
Thank you.
And I meant to ask Joyce.
She does, because you said.
Oh yeah, that's right. You've got announcements. You always have.
Joyce always has announcements.
So we'll come back to you for announcements.
Thank you, Dee.
I can't see everybody's face all at one time, but I just realized that Greg joined us this morning. I invited Greg Shibley to be with us. So good morning, Greg. Glad you're here.
Hi, good morning, Ann. Thanks for inviting me.
So next on my screen is Selma. So I just met her via email and invited her to join us. So Selma, you want to introduce yourself? And I don't know if you're familiar with Lemon Grove. I don't know where you live, but if you know anything about Lemon Grove and you're grateful about something in Lemon Grove, feel free to share it.
Yeah, so hi everyone, good morning. My name is Selma. I am the host homes coordinator with Homestart. I do want to make an announcement later and kind of talk to you all about the host homes program. Yeah, so Homestart is a countywide, or like we work across the county. My office is located in El Cajon. Yeah, so I work a lot in the East County area, but the program is across like Central San Diego and East County. Something that I'm grateful for, I would say personally, I'm really grateful for community. Like that's kind of what first came to mind when I was thinking of this, and then hearing you all talk about Lemon Grove. I'm not too familiar with Lemon Grove area. I live in Central San Diego in Claremont. But yeah, hearing you all talk about Lemon Grove, I'm like, it sounds really amazing. And it sounds like the sense of community that you all have with each other and the care and love that you have for each other and for the city. It's really amazing. And to like echo a lot of what Dean was saying too, like it's really refreshing. And now I feel like I have like a different perspective of Lemon Grove.
Awesome.
So I really appreciate that. Yeah, thank you for inviting me and allowing me to be
we're
here
so glad
today.
you're here. Look forward to hearing about Homestart and maybe how we can come alongside and be a part of your program.
Yeah, thank you.
Sarah, you're next on my screen. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Sarah.
Hi, thank you. I'm Sarah Lewis. I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and my husband is actually currently the bishop of our congregation in Lemon Grove, and our congregation is like Lemon Grove and part of Spring Valley. So I like to be here because I can come and kind of be representative and take the information back. I'm also a new member. This is what I'm grateful for. Earlier this year, I joined the board of the Historical Society in Lemon Grove. And I've lived here for 16 years and didn't ever really get involved, but I love it. I'm surprised how much I love it. I'm surprised how much I didn't know about Lemon Grove, and I'm surprised what like a hidden jewel the Historical Society is. Those two buildings the Historical Society brought here are amazing, and I've been able to kind of really be more involved in the buildings and the building maintenance, and we've been working really hard, having volunteers to maintain the Parsons Museum. The inside of the Parsons Museum is amazing. And I'm really grateful for the sense of place, like learning about Lemon Grove gives me. And we have a really cool history, like really interesting stuff. I'm also on the oral history committee. So I'm going to be hopefully recording histories of longtime residents of Lemon Grove. I'm going to visit with a lady named Carol Weiss next week. And she was like in the World War II and she's been here forever. And my first love is oral histories. I worked with those in college, so I'm super excited about that. And I'm surprised how many long-term residents. We have a lot of residents that have lived here since the 50s, which is pretty amazing. So I'm grateful for the Historical Society. And if you haven't been to the Parsons Museum, it's open often middle of the day on Saturdays. It's an absolute hidden gem. It's a beautiful building. And the Lee House is just beautiful. If you have an opportunity to go inside and see it, I've been working in the archives in the attic, and it's really just a beautiful building, and what an awesome resource, and it's an amazing event space. So that's what I'm grateful for. The only announcement I have, I actually have to leave pretty soon, is we are having a membership drive. I'm the membership vice president, so it's like $20 a year, $15 a year. It's really cool. So if you want to join the Historical Society, I'm your person. That's the only announcement I have.
Are
It's
you
awesome to be here.
responsible for this? Is this your baby?
What is that? Is that the?
This
Oh, that's actually Helen Ofield.
is the great.
That's her. big-
This is the great Christmas drawing. I got it in the mail yesterday.
This
And
is great. That's Ellen.
one of the things on this list that you can buy a raffle ticket for is historical society membership, 1 year for a family of 3. So I just got it in the mail. So I guess I'm on their mailing list. So if anybody wants to participate and support the Historical Society, I know they haven't had a lot of donations because they haven't been open. And like everybody else, they're hurting for funds. So if you're interested, just contact Sarah. I'm sure you can get Helen to mail this.
I can definitely get Helen. Helen does a lot of that, like in-mail fundraising, and we're kind of trying to find other. We're hoping to have a huge gala once COVID's over next summer. We're hoping to have a huge gala and open our buildings and have open houses and show cool people our amazing archives. And we just really have some cool stuff up there, like some old pictures. I mean, it's just kind of a hidden gem up there. I'm really hoping we can get more people to kind of see what we have.
So there's 12 things you could win on here. And apparently she can also send you a tax deductible receipt if you're interested. And the tickets are only $1 a piece. So if you're interested in supporting the Historical Society, I'll put that little plug in. I just got that yesterday and thought it was a great idea. So, okay, Sarah, so you that was your announcement, or you
yeah, that's my announcement. I'm gonna have to drop off pretty soon, but it's awesome to be here.
Okay, great to have you. Pastor Jeff, great to have you back. I think you were out of town last month when we were meeting, and so glad to have you back. And I can put the prompts back up on the screen, but basically it's just your name, your organization, what you're thankful for about Lemon Grove, and let me know if you have an announcement. Oh no, we can't hear you.
He looks unmuted.
He is unmuted. He just unmuted, but I don't hear him.
Does anybody else hear him? Raise your hand if you do. No.
Jeff, you might have to go into your microphone settings and make sure your microphone, or you join with audio. Did you join with audio? I see your mute is on and off, but I don't hear you. Oh, that stinks.
Okay, he's
gonna
go
go
out
and come back in. Okay. Hey, we read lips. Good job. Okay, Mark, you're up next on my screen. Hey,
I'm next. Mark Stapleton here. Like Ann said, we pastor Cornerstone Community Church of Lemon Grove for almost 20 years now. And that is a pretty big change in our lives and for the church in one sense. But in another sense, not really.
What's a big change?
Me not being a pastor.
I don't think everybody was on.
Oh, not everybody was on. Well, Ann and I have been pastoring together, but my name was on the paycheck. Now her name is going to be on the paycheck, like it should have been for the last 20 years, because she does most of the work.
That is not true.
On top of that, I worked for our denominational headquarters for 10 years. So I've been with our denomination for 30 years. And so I guess you could say I retired, I resigned. I don't know what I did.
You quit.
Yeah. There are a lot of reasons that went into it. Part of it is personal and personality. I'm more wired to work with things than people. And also financial. Our church is small and we needed to make some changes, but also personally, financially. We have been on one income for the last 26 years, if you can believe that. And living here in Lemon Grove or San Diego area, the cost of living is a little bit more than where I'm from, which is Ohio. But Ann's been volunteering all of her time. The early part of that was homeschooling our kids up till 7th grade. So we were really just blessed that we could make it on one income. But as we get older, they say they retired and rode off into the sunset. Well, we need something to ride off in, ride on as we go to the sunset. The chickens have come home to roost. And so I'll be taking a salary with the United States Postal Service. Yesterday was my first day on the job. So last week was Ann's first day on Monday, the 2nd of November. My last day was November 6th as being a paid pastor. And then I started at the USPS on November 7th. And I'm working in Rancho Bernardo at the processing plant, the processing facility. So you won't see me walking around doing a route in Lemon Grove with those cool little shorts and those straw hats and those black socks and all that. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. But I like working with my hands and equipment and organization and things like that. So I'm in the plant. I'm moving the mail behind the scenes sending it out and getting it ready for the carrier. So looking forward to that part of our lives as we move along here. And when we first moved down to Lemon Grove, the outgoing pastor, because we asked, where should we live? It's important when you're coming into a new area to find the right place to live. And he said, well, the church is in Lemon Grove, but you don't want to live there. And I looked at each other, why don't we want to live there? It was just 20 years ago. And, Lemon Grove has had its troubling times, but it's not on the top of the socioeconomic list. You want to live in La Mesa or Rancho Bernardo RB or something like that. And we're like, no, we don't. We want to live where our people are. We want to live where the church is. And that was one of the best decisions we've ever made. Love Lemon Grove so much. Along with everybody else, it's about the people. And now that we've been involved in the city as much as we have, I love seeing the desire of the city employees, the elected officials, the city workers, other organizations, the desire to make Lemon Grove a better place. That is just at the top of the list. It's amazing. We have the Lemon Grove Clergy Association, we have the Lemon Grove Collaborative, the Resident Leadership Academy has been birthed over the years to get people involved and make Lemon Grove a better place. Lemon Grove got a grant from Kaiser to institute the Heal Zone, and that was making Lemon Grove a better place. So that's what I like seeing. I like seeing the little steps and that it takes to make Lemon Grove better. And I'm really, really thankful for that.
Awesome. And next on my screen is Greg. So Greg, you want to unmute and, oh, actually I should go back to Jeff. Hold on just a second. I skipped over Jeff because of his microphone. Let's test your mic out and see.
Is it working now, Ann?
Yay, there he is.
Okay, we'll go Jeff and then go Greg. So
Okay, I have no announcements. The reason one of the things I like about Lemon Grove is it has the best climate on earth.
Yeah,
that's what I heard.
I can't believe I didn't think of that.
But no, I think it's become redundant. I'm echoing what's been said. It's groups like these and so many others that I've been a part of through the years, and the longevity and the consistency and small town. We all are able to do, how would I want to say this, more often than not, the best things that we can do, we do in small settings, be it in our own personal life, with the spouse, with a family, with small groups. And Lemon Grove is made up of all kinds of small groups. And so I'm glad I've been able to be a part of many small groups through the years. And it's just a blessing to be back. I was in a small group the last 5 weeks, meeting with my mother and my father in Missouri. She has ALS, my mother. And the day we arrived in Missouri, we found out my brother was in the hospital in ICU on a ventilator with the COVID-19. And so that small group of my brother and myself and my mom and dad, a small family group, we went through some tough times over the last 5 weeks. But anyway, so it's small groups that make up large groups, obviously, and I'm just glad to be a part of this one.
Well, we will be praying for your brother. I'm glad he's home now and off the ventilator, but I know he's not out of the woods yet totally. So we'll be praying for him. Do you want to tell people what church you're from and how long you've been there? I think that's actually a pretty amazing thing, how long you've been at your church.
Right. Though I don't live in Lemon Grove, I did early on when my wife and I first got married. We moved to Lemon Grove when we were 7-week newlyweds, I guess you might say. We were brand newly married and came to our church, the First Baptist Church of Lemon Grove. I was the youth pastor there for about 4 or 5 years, and then became the pastor. So I've been in Lemon Grove, worked in Lemon Grove for the last 37 years and 2 weeks, I guess it is now.
Wow.
So it's been good to be a part of our city all these many years.
Wow, great. And we're glad to have you. We rent from Pastor Jeff, our church does, so we've got a close relationship. Thank you so much for everything you do for the city. You've been a part of a lot of things, and I really appreciate it. All right, Greg, from your studio in your basement, which we've had the opportunity.
Live from Greg's Shibley studio.
Yes.
Oh, you see, I need like an intro theme music or something, right?
We don't have the bumper music, sorry.
That's right. Well, hello, good morning, everyone, and thanks again for inviting me. It's good to see you, and Mark also, good to see you guys. Let me just say congratulations as well. I mean, I know it's big life changes can be exciting, but they can be overwhelming. You know, it's funny how I mean, if all of you guys are anything like I am, it's funny how when you're young, how easy it is to make huge life-changing decisions without really much thought. And then as you get older, it just gets more and more overwhelming. So, and I'm kind of in the middle of that myself, so I can sympathize. So I'm stoked for you guys. I'm sure it'll all be great. Anyway, folks, I won't take too much time. I am not part of the clergy or any particular church, but I am from the Lemon Grove Lions Club. And every year, the Lions Club puts on a peace poster contest that would be open to junior high age kids, 11, 12, and 13. And this year, the theme is Peace Through Service. And the idea is that anyone who is 11, 12, or 13 years old and goes to and is enrolled in Lemon Grove School District can enter a poster, and then it will be you know, the winner of the Lemon Grove batch will then go on to the district, and then from there state, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's just a nice thing to do. There is a cash prize for the ultimate winner, so what I'm doing now is now this is my first year doing this. I'm fairly new to the Lions Club as well. This is like my first year, and then my first year doing the peace poster. But and so normally that we would just go to schools, I guess, and just go right to the schools. And the woman from the district who has been guiding me through this suggested I don't do that because it just wouldn't really be practical. And so therefore I've been going around trying to contact any other groups like the Cub Scouts and Girl Scouts and anyone else who would have access to groups of kids. And then I was thinking about Anne and Mark, and I know how involved they are with just doing so many things from the community. So she invited me to join the Zoom meeting and let everyone know. So basically, if anyone has a youth group, you know, from those ages or anything like that, I can leave my email address in the chat, I suppose. And then I've got like a little flyer, a little PDF thing I can send you. The thing is that we're only a couple days away from it being, so all entries have to be sent to me by noon on Friday. So that's just in 2 days. But you know, it's still a nice thing to do. There's still plenty of time if, you know, if kids want to do that. It would basically be a poster, so not a three-dimensional work of art or something, but anything that's a poster. And there's a basic size restriction, which I could look up, but it's a poster size thing. So all people would have to do is take a picture of it, send it to me by noon, and then we'll have a few people from the Lions Club who will judge it. And pick a winner. Everyone will get a certificate anyway for just, you know, being awesome enough to enter something. But we'll pick a winner, and then I would arrange for whoever the winner is, I would arrange to meet with them by the Friday evening to actually get the original, which will be carted off to the district meeting on Saturday out in El Centro. And then we go from there.
So is
I hope I didn't talk too long, but that's.
They live in Lemon Grove, did you say? That was a requirement, they'd be in the schools?
I don't think it's required that they live in Lemon Grove. Let me refer to the flyer. As far as I know, and I mean, actually, if Jennifer Mendoza, she probably knows more than I do on this stuff because she's been with us for a long time. And she's one of the most powerful lions of them all around here. But as far as I know, you just have to be in the Lemon Grove School District and be 11, 12, or 13 years old.
In the Lemon Grove School District. Awesome. The Lions Club is a great organization. Our son did the speaking competition through the Lions Club when he was in high school and went all the way to the finals and won $11,000 towards college. What do they call it, scholarship or whatever, over the 3 years that he did the speech. And it's the same kind of thing where you do it locally and then you move up and all the different lions are judging, and they do a lot of really great things. And I'm so glad that, I don't know who it was that got it up and going again in Lemon Grove a couple years ago, but I'm really grateful for all of you who are in the Lions Club. Liana.
Yeah, I'm really glad to have found it myself, because I've been really, for the last few years now, I've been really wanting to do things for the community, and so to find a group like that's all they're dedicated to. It's been really good, and I've met some really good people as well.
Before Before I leave you, Greg, I do want to mention that Greg, if you recognize his voice, he and Leanna are the hosts of the Shine on Lemon Grove podcast, and they do really good work. And I know they took a little break during the COVID, and I think you guys are back on, right? Are you back on to producing part-time?
We were back on a little bit. Leanna convinced me that we needed to get back on it, and then it was hard to get her to actually sit down and record. So she was having scheduling problems. Yeah, well, so we've both been campaigning. We've been busy with that. So, and that's, by the way, looking very positive for both of us. That's not over. They're still tallying votes. And if anyone's counting, yes, as of last night, I am up by 11 votes. We're still waiting on the final count, so we'll see. But anyway, yeah, hopefully we will be getting actually one way or the other, we should be getting our podcast back up and running once the dust settles in the next week or two. That's my goal. Yeah. Wow. So just so if anyone has any other questions about the contest, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but as I said, I will put my email address in there in the chat, and then I can just send you a flyer. And then if anyone wants to forward that out to whatever groups that you think might be interested, that would be great.
Yeah, if you can email it to me, or if you know how to upload it in the chat, you can do that as well. And then
know what, actually, yeah, maybe, Ann, I'll just email it to you because I can see already the flyer that was sent to me has a mistake on it. So let me fix that before I forward it off to you.
Yeah, and send it to me, and then I'll send out. We usually have at least twice as many people on our meeting, and so I'm sure they're probably just not working today because it's Veterans Day. So I'll go ahead and send it out to all of them as well. And I know time is of the essence. So if you know of somebody that is in that age range from your church or youth group or somebody in one of your work groups, please let them know to go ahead and start working on a peace poster. I think that's a great thing for the kids to do that's not on the computer. So great. Thank you, Greg. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for your time, everybody.
You're a Lemon Grove resident of 5 years. How long have you been here?
Actually, I think we've been here for closer to 8 years or something like this by now. Yeah.
Welcome. Glad to have you on this morning. Let's see, next on my screen. All right, that's everybody. That was everybody. Wow, this is like the quickest meeting ever. Okay, so let's go back through and start with announcements. And if anybody needs to hop off, I understand. But you're welcome to stay and hear some of the good things that are going on. So Jennifer, you're up first to give us some city council announcements and an announcement from your church. That'd be great.
Well, I with the city, I just wanted to say that at our last meeting, we voted to allocate $100,000 of our COVID relief money to the Home Start program. And then I'll let Selma talk a little bit more about what she does. But if, what I would like you guys to get the word out, if you see someone out on the street who looks, unhoused and seems to be, in need of shelter or, whatever, you can call the city and ask for Mike James or leave a message for Mike James, and he will get in touch with Home Start, and someone will come out and contact the person and take it from there. So it's really it's going to be a seamless process. And then, sorry, I'm a little distracted here. And then on the same vein, I met with a contractor yesterday at the church. We have enough donations to put a shower in our Kirk Center bathrooms. So we kind of gave up on the whole mobile shower idea because those are kind of few and far between. So we're just going to put our own shower in. February 27, I also had a conference call with Interfaith Shelter Network Monday night. And February 27, our church will be hosting a 2-week shelter again with them. We haven't done it for like a year and a half now. And there will be, depending on what the county guidelines are at the time, there will be, some restrictions. It's going to be a lot different.
Yeah.
But I will be reaching out to the group to maybe help us with a dinner one night. But we probably won't have like a group dinner where you stay. We're going to be working to keep people isolated as much as possible, and we may have to have a smaller group. But I'll be reaching out as time goes on. And of course, our goal, I told the contractor, we got to have that shower done by February 27, and he's good with that. Then after that, we're going to be able to jump in with a monthly shower program at the church, and we're going to kind of tag team with what Vista La Mesa Church, and I'm forgetting, there's another church in La Mesa. So we will do a weekend that they're not hosting, and it'll be, come get a shower, maybe pick out, at some point we're hoping to have a clothes closet, get a continental breakfast and a sack lunch to take away with you. And then we are also going to have other social services available while people are there. But again, this won't be taking place until probably March. And then we'll also have to see what the county guidelines are at the time. But the first step is getting that shower in. And so I'm really excited that we've got the funding for that, and an architect is coming to meet with me, and we're going to submit a plan to the city, and whoop, off we go. So those are my announcements.
Perfect. Thank you. And I think if you don't mind, I'll just jump over to Selma, since it kind of follows on the heels of what you were saying about Home Start. Can you tell us a little bit about your organization and how, I guess, Jennifer will be, well, not Jennifer, the city, I guess, I didn't realize that they gave part of the relief money to you. So that's awesome.
Yeah. So like I mentioned, Home Start is like a countywide organization in our housing department specifically. So we work on housing and homelessness. We have about like 20 or so different types of housing programs. And so the one that Jennifer was mentioning is, so for the past few months, we've been, we have like a small office that we work out of at Home Start. So like I've been going in the Lemon Grove City Hall, I think. I've been going there a couple of times. We go about once a week, and different coworkers have been going just to support a lot of like the housing and homelessness work that's been going on in Lemon Grove. And then I don't have too many details about this program, but I believe that we're hiring a part-time outreach worker to also work specifically with the city of Lemon Grove in the program that Jennifer was talking about with Mike. And so a lot of that work would just be like outreach work, supporting the houseless community members with resources, hygiene kits, food, things like that. So that's specifically like the outreach program related to Lemon Grove. Another program that I coordinate is the Host Homes program. And that's, so the Host Homes program works again, like across San Diego, to pair youth between the ages of 14 to 24 who are experiencing housing insecurity with adults in the community who want to open up their home and who have an extra room in their home. And so a lot of that program is, outreaching to community members and especially church congregations. So working with, I forgot what they're called, but I think a ministry, right? Like ministries at different churches. And I know I've worked with them in the past too, churches here in El Cajon, just to try to outreach to community members who are willing to participate in the program. So if they have an extra room in their home and they're willing to take someone in for any time of any amount of time, whatever they prefer, if they want to do like a 3-month thing, a 6-month thing, a 1-year commitment, whatever that may look like. So I don't know how much time I have. I don't know if you all want me to go into more detail about the program. Part of it is like I'm also trying to like outreach to as many people as possible. So if you want to like invite me to give a presentation to your community members, to your church, talk specifically, I can send out an email with more details on our flyer. I also know that it's a commitment for people to do that. So I'm also happy to like answer any questions, talk through our matching process, so that people feel comfortable participating in the program. Yeah, I've also, so like, for example, I'm meeting with a church in 2 weeks to do like a conversation with one of their, with their pastor that other people can tune in and watch, and just to talk about the program, things like that. So I'm happy to like schedule anything with you or your congregation or anything like that. And hoping that this can be an avenue to like outreach to the program even more. And also happy to answer any questions or talk about more detail of the program here if you all are curious.
Yeah, if you have information that you can email me, I can forward it on to, we have about 30 churches in Lemon Grove. I mean, some of them are pretty small, but they have connections then that they could send the information out, specifically with what the requirements would be, what kind of and then if you have a date where you are doing a live interview and the link, we could send that out too. Because I think that I like the idea of, we've looked at, Pastor Jeff has brought a guest speaker to talk about, using our parking lots to build shelters for people experiencing homelessness and that kind of thing. So we're always trying to connect resources with people in need. And I love the work also that Jennifer and the Catholic Church have been doing too. So yeah, if you can send that to me or pop it in the chat room or whatever, I can get that word out to the other pastors that aren't on here this morning.
Yeah, for sure. I can email it to you, and if you can send it out. I'll double check on if they're going to allow other people to join in to that conversation, or if it's just specifically for their church. But
I see. Yeah.
But if they're okay with me sharing it, I'll definitely share it with you.
Listen in, sure.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have a question for Selma? Okay, great. Thank you so much for your time and for being here. And you're in Lemon Grove now. That's great. You got a little office in Lemon Grove. Is that where you are right now? Or no?
No, I'm in our El Cajon office.
Oh, El Cajon office. Got it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so next on my list for announce, I think, is David. So Dave, you want to share with us what you got?
Again, good morning, everyone. I've got a couple of things. One is that next Tuesday, Institute for Public Strategies is going to be doing a presentation to the Lemon Grove City Council on the topic of RBSS, which is Responsible Beverage Sales and Service. We will be talking about different options for both the on sale, which is the bars, restaurants, etc., as well as off sale, including discussions around innovative topics like alcohol related sexual assault, human trafficking, those kinds of things, which people don't necessarily build a connection between the two, but there is there are connections. And so the purpose of the presentation will be to provide options to the city council to consider for future adoption. And the overall is that when we see these kinds of programs implemented, we see business improve, we see community economics improve, health and wellness improve. And so we'll be doing that presentation next Tuesday. So I would encourage you all to attend if you can. I don't believe that there will be a speaking, public comment section to kind of respond to the presentation, but council may be responding. And it's just a good opportunity to learn more about the different options and things that we talk about, because when we talk about it, it's sometimes a little bit nebulous. And we're going to be talking about more specifics. The
Yeah, so the city council meetings are on Zoom. You can find the link on the Lemon Grove City website. I should probably send that link out.
Yeah.
I'll do that as well.
Okay.
So yeah, well, and it's the easiest way to ever attend a city council meeting ever. Just
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to go sit over there for 3 or 4 hours. You can just attend on Zoom, so it's great.
The other announcement I have is that there are 2 people who are on the call, who are actually 3 people who are on the call who were honored last Friday at the Alcohol Policy Panel's quarterly breakfast for being great community advocates. And that is Ann and Mark Stapleton and Miss Joyce Moore. And so I was able to announce that we were going to be giving them Community Advocate Awards for their support of efforts to address binge and underage drinking and community revitalization and health and public health. So yeah, we really appreciate all that you have done and are continuing to do to make Lemon Grove, it's just the best climate in the world, and that climate has a different, has different meanings and different definitions. And so, you are creating the best climate in the world for people to live in. So thank you so much for the great and wonderful work that you guys do. And unfortunately, it won't be a check in the mail, but it will be a certificate in the mail. So we'll be mailing those out to you. I know we'll be mailing out to you in the next couple of weeks. We've got to get them signed. Hopefully we can get them signed with electronically. Otherwise we have to mail them to someone who signs it, and then they mail it back, and then we quarantine it for 2 weeks, or I don't know how we do that. So it'll be in the mail.
Checks in the mail, right?
Yeah.
It's in the mail. Oh, thank you, Dave. That's really kind of you to recognize that. I know Joyce really deserves it. All her work she did with IPS and then just in the community, and that's a passion of hers. So thank you.
You're very welcome. Yeah, it's very important when folks set a wonderful tone to acknowledge that. And you Ann and Mark, you guys, you do this work out of the love of your heart, and yes, you get paid, but you probably don't get paid for the amount or the time that you actually put in. It's in addition to the work you do in the community. It's also, I wanted to just say thank you for that commitment, and I know Joyce is the same way. So
for sure, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for being part of our team here. Let's see, next on my list I've got Dean, I guess. Another IPS member. You are muted.
He's on his.
There we go.
Sorry, I had my file window open, ready to drop the flyer simultaneously as I was talking. I guess that's not a feature they've got going quite that smoothly yet. Yes, next Wednesday at 1 p.m. on Zoom, IPS is hosting a webinar dealing with the topic of stigma and how it impacts people seeking addiction. It acts as a huge barrier to treatment. Stigma affects a lot of areas in our lives, and a lot of people don't realize it, but just in the perceptions that we have of people and the judgments that are instantly made for people experiencing homelessness, people experiencing substance misuse and addiction. And some of it is so automatic that we don't really stop to think of the damage that it does. But when it comes to people seeking treatment for addiction, there was a recent survey that showed that actually 25% of the respondents were hesitant to seek recovery based on the fact that they were concerned about what people would think or were concerned about how they would be viewed. And that's the damage that stigma does. It stands in the way. And we have a terrific speaker lined up. Her name is Katie Bell. In addition to a myriad of other achievements, she is an addictions medicine nurse, and she's something of an authority on the topic. She's going to speak on using the language of dignity when dealing with people and how we perceive people with substance use disorder, and realize that even though there is, you know, a lot of damage going on in their lives, they're really in the grips of a very complex disease, and trying to get a better view on that and help them to get past those barriers is an important thing. And I'm going to put a flyer in the chat window. Everyone is welcome to attend. Please circulate it among the clergy members as well as your own congregations. I can't think of anybody who wouldn't benefit from this to some degree. It's a very broad and general topic scope that we have. Obviously, it's from my program, so it's going to be tiled and framed toward the opioid epidemic, but the subject matter in general is of great use to all of us, especially right now when there's so many disparities in our communities, and doing what we can to help mitigate those barriers. So I hope everyone can attend. It's going to take approximately an hour, and this woman is absolutely fascinating. One of the most humble speakers I've ever heard, and you won't be sorry. So,
What time did you say that was, Dean? On Wednesday the 18th?
it's a Wednesday the 18th at 1 p.m.
1 p.m. Okay.
And I did send out the flyer, I think, on Monday, but I'll
Oh, good.
send it out
That's
again.
right. I did send it to you. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll put it in here again,
Yeah,
and
appreciate you speaking to
that
it.
way we'll have it
That's
right
Maybe
and ready to
it's
go.
more compelling that it's even bigger than just the opioid epidemic. I mean, stigma is
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, it's great.
Yeah. And, you know, nobody should have to be humiliated because of who and what they are and their circumstances in life. And it's just so, it's devastating. And the impact that it has just continues to erode and erode and erode at the character, to the point where they don't even, you know, we wonder when we look at people experiencing homelessness that are in the street and why they look so downtrodden. It's just, you reach a point where you've experienced so much humiliation that you just don't even bother to help yourself anymore.
Right.
And when addiction is added to that, then it just becomes a deadly mix.
Absolutely.
So,
Just feel less than human. Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
hope to see you all there. Thank you.
Appreciate that. All right, Joyce, you're up next. Go ahead and unmute.
Sorry about that. I'm working and listening. So my new job, I am a community health worker with the Multicultural Health Foundation COVID-19 Communication Initiative, Outreach
long title.
Initiative.
Can you repeat that, please? we can't write that fast.
Okay. So I am a community health worker with the Multicultural Health Foundation's COVID-19 Communication Outreach Initiative.
Wow.
And this initiative is to ensure that African Americans in San Diego County have access to accurate information about COVID-19. So African Americans are at a greater risk because of their underlying conditions, such as diabetes, heart conditions, obesity, and things like that. So they're at a higher risk for complications for COVID-19. So our job is to get information out about resources that the county has. So I have a number of flyers that I'm sending out. Last week, I gave out some PPEs, and as they give me more, I'll be giving them to, you know, some of the smaller churches like yours, and I think you probably got like 50, so I can do that. And then the PPEs, it's, you know, the PPEs, and then I put an information flyer in there as well, a couple of information flyers, but I also have flyers that you could, before Saturday, distribute to your congregants. So, you know, as of Saturday, we're supposed to be closing down again.
Yeah.
So I imagine our work is probably going to intensify. And so that's what we're doing. But also what I'm doing also, I can send the information out via email. And the only thing that's, you know, send out a couple of questions. And if you can just get that back to me, that would be great. So I do ask, like I just sent a pastor, and I'll just say who it is. Pastor Slade has a congregation of 150. So my question to him is, how many African Americans do you have in your congregation? So he had 40%. The county want the numbers because the county's goal is for us right now from October to November is to reach 6,000 people.
Okay.
And depending on how we do with those numbers, they will probably extend it. And I'm thinking they're probably going to extend it, especially with at the rate that we're going now.
Yeah.
And then they've been having lots of webinars, lots of town halls, and this is all virtual. And so we want to get this information out to people because unfortunately, and this has happened also in my family, and I'm really sad to say this, but a couple of my family members did not think COVID was real. And a couple of them, and this was just recently, one of them, very close, got the COVID and it knocked them completely out. And when I say knocked them out, it knocked them out. Fortunately for them, they were young and they were healthy and they were an athlete. And they, you know, athletes take all the vitamins, the herbs, and run every day or walk or some kind of physical activity. And because of that, it was very helpful. So the other side of that, that doesn't happen for everybody. Mm-hmm. Right now, as I'm speaking on our prayer group, and one of the ladies that's been on our prayer group since April, she is transitioning right now. And what happened was, her nephew came to visit her. He had it and she caught it from him. And so she's leaving us and we're really sad about that. And so we want people to know that it's really real. The epidemiologist said in our first training, the safest way to lower the impact of catching COVID is to stay home as much as possible and limit who comes to your home. So we had another case of one of my former church mothers. Her son's friend came from Washington State to visit him. That friend came with COVID and did not disclose it. James died. The friend is doing fine. So there are a lot of different scenarios out there. COVID is really, really real. The epidemiologist, she was just given a scenario of how she goes to shop. She goes late at night when there's, you know, not many people. I try to get out like once a day if I have to get out, and go very early in the morning before everybody is in the stores breathing all over everything. And I don't think we can completely limit going out. I have a niece in Virginia who pretty much has. So they order everything in, and they have this big fabulous house where they live on a lake, so they can, you know, go out like that. But not everybody has that, but they have not even been out in public. So that's what I'm doing right now.
That's great. That's a lot of good work.
So I will send you this information, and you can distribute it. And I'm just going to ask the pastors if they will respond back to me and tell me, you know, how many African Americans they have in their congregation. And so the two big things, as I was saying earlier, they are pushing and asking people to go get tested, because we are out, we protect ourselves, but not everybody protect us. And we don't know the people that are out among us. We don't know what they have,
right,
which is unfortunate. And then the other thing is the flu shot. And the county has a list of places that are free. It does not cost. They are not inserting the swab all the way up your nose to almost down your throat now. So they've taken the pain out of it. And you don't have to wait a week to get the results. The results are back in 2 days. So if you guys can help me with that, that would be great. I would really appreciate that. And
I don't know if everybody was on when we mentioned before, but Lemon Grove just opened up a testing site at the community center. And I thought I saw the hours were like 8:30 to 5 or something like that. So, but you can just, if you just Google it, you'll see that it just opened up. I stumbled onto it, which is really, you know, and they say that where it's spread the most is in families and family gatherings, because I know we had to make a trip back to Kentucky last week, and it's tough to be in a member's home and wear a mask. I mean, it just feels weird. It feels like you don't trust them, and it's a very weird dynamic. And so Thanksgiving's coming up, and I know that that's going to be, it's going to be some difficult decisions about what to do and how many people to have in and where do they come from and who were they in contact with. And so
we're strongly discouraging family gatherings.
Yeah.
But
So
encouraging to do it on Zoom.
Yeah. We're going to do our first church Zoom Thanksgiving potluck.
Oh, wow.
In a couple weeks, because we've done it. This will be our 19th year, I think, doing it. And we always invite the community, doing the potluck. I think Joyce was there last year. We invited you to come, Joyce. And and so I was like, oh, we're not doing our potluck. So we're gonna all after church in a couple weeks, we're gonna bring our dish and explain what we love about our dish and eat together. So it's gonna be weird, but it is what it is. And hopefully we'll get through this if we just take it seriously and flatten that curve, because it's spiking right now. Okay, let's see. I think that was it for announcements. Am I right? Wow, good. And it's 10:21. Perfect. Any last minute things anybody want to bring up? I'll look for your emails. If you send them to me, I will get them out to there's a lot of pastors that, there's a couple churches I'm thinking of right now that I don't know if you've reached out to, Joyce, but with your information, like North Park and that have a high African American community. So hopefully these resources will be helpful to your church, to your organization, and to those who missed out on today. This is recorded, and I will be posting this on YouTube soon, and I'll send that link out as well. So,
and do you have the church directory digitally?
I have it on a PDF. Yeah, you want me to send that to you?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. PDF directory. Well, I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving. I'm going to be driving up north. I know, speaking of staying home, my dad is not doing well mentally, and he lives alone, and he's turned off his phone, or I don't know, something's wrong. I cannot get a hold of him, and I had to get a hold of a neighbor to go check on him, and he's telling the neighbor, I don't need a phone. My kids will just come see me. His kids live in Colorado, except for me. He lives in near San Francisco. So
he showed up at the door with a shotgun.
Yeah. So his landlord went to him last month, and he showed up at the door with a shotgun. So he's a Vietnam vet. And so just say a prayer for me. I'm going to get in a car and drive up on Sunday. Somebody has to physically go into his apartment or his cottage where he's been living for like 30 years and help him get his phone back on and reason with him or make some hard decisions. I don't know what I'm facing. So that's my week next week. And he's a heavy smoker. He's smoked since he was 7. And and he's sprayed with Agent Orange. He's just got a lot of health issues. And now I fear his mental capacity is going, because this isn't him. This isn't how he normally acts. So anyway, that's what I'm facing next week. And appreciate your thoughts and prayers. But hopefully everybody will have a good Thanksgiving. We're giving thanks for what we have, even though we've lost a lot this year, just giving thanks for what we still have. So,
and you may know this, so I apologize if I'm mansplaining. There may be organizations in that area, veterans organizations, mental health organizations that you might want to talk to just kind of help set the framework, or maybe they have some resources they can.
Yeah, thanks for saying that, David. He's a part of the Travis Credit Union, and Travis Air Force Base is up there.
He's part of the VA.
I was gonna say the VA. Yeah.
Check with them and see what programs and what kind of on-site help. Yeah.
It's
and important.
I need to get his doctor's number and be able to talk to his physician and just see what I can do. But I do appreciate that. I will. I don't know. I'm leaving it open-ended, being up there maybe a week, just to see what I can do to help him and get him in touch with resources. I know he'll be resistant, but I guess that's the part that I need prayers for, is just that he'll be open to whatever help he needs. If he's I heard he was paper thin. That's what they said. His hair's
Oh,
grown
wow.
real long, his beard's grown real long, and he's paper thin. So, you know, he could definitely have cancer. His wife, not my mom, but my stepmom, died of lung cancer. And so it's very possible, smoking that long, that he could have cancer and not even feel it because he's on pain meds for other things. And he already has a form of leukemia from being sprayed with Agent Orange in Vietnam. So he's susceptible that way. So anyway, it's just a stage of life. I know Jeff's going through it with his mother, and Mark's dad. We just saw him last week when we were in Kentucky, and he's probably got maybe a month to live. He's, yeah, he didn't look very good at all. So yeah, so we're in that stage of life where we're caring for our parents. So appreciate your thoughts.
And before you go, I would just like to, can you ask Selma if she can, if you can share her email address with you and you send it to me? I would love to invite her to the Lemon Grove Collaborative.
Oh yeah, are you doing that today? Even though it's Veterans
No,
Day?
we're not doing, because all of the providers, they are off.
They're all
today.
closed. I guess
Yeah.
canceled too, but
Except for David.
Yeah.
David,
Dean and I
you
are the
rock.
exceptions. Yeah.
You rock. You're working on your day off. I appreciate that. You too, Dean. Appreciate you all doing that.
Shows your commitment and dedication. Thank you.
Pastors don't get
Indeed.
it off, so no.
Joyce, I just sent you an email.
Oh, good.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I sent you an email.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you all for what you do, making Lemon Grove a better place. Pastor Jeff, would you mind closing us out in prayer?
I'll do that. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Well, God
All
can,
right.
so we're okay.
Let's pray. God, we thank you for a day that we can come together as a family, as residents of a community, or people committed to other people, to those who are less fortunate in some instances. We pray for those in Lemon Grove and other communities that give leadership from a government standpoint, for the businesses in our communities, for these nonprofit organizations like many of ours that come alongside and do and try to help as best they can. We pray for our country as well, and just ask for you to watch over us, protect us, Father. We thank you again, all of us, as was said early on, for Mark and Ann and the leadership that they give. So take care of us now as we go our different ways today. We need your help, and help us to love you and to love our neighbors as ourselves, the Bible says. It's in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
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 Thanks a lot, Jeff. Thank you, everybody. Have a great
Bye-bye.
Veterans Day. Joyce, thank your husband for his service. We appreciate all
Thank
his
you.
years of service.
Thank
to our
you.
family.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Bye-bye.
Happy holiday if I don't see you before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
happy holidays.
December-
Yes.
Yeah. Happy
December 9th.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yes.